If you ask any successful person how they got where they are today, 9 out of 10 times they'll respond by saying hard work. This is especially true in corporate and entrepreneurial circles where people are always looking to outsmart and outwork their competition, right? Where if one person brags about working 70 hours a week, another person will brag about working 100 hours and the contest goes on. Look, I believe that everybody should be capable of doing hard work when it's required because nothing really worth having in life comes easy. I know that. But let me ask you a question. Is it me, or have you also noticed that some people like to say, I'm working hard as a flex to make themselves feel better or project a sense of superiority over others? Is it just me, or do you also see hardworking people being equally miserable or equally broke or down on their luck as the seemingly lazy ones? Is hard work all that's needed to secure a life of prosperity, love, and abundance? Well, no, not really. The truth is that we don't need hard work to do great things or live a happy life for that matter. What we need is to do the right work. Work that gives us a sense of purpose and direction in our life. Work that fills us with joy on most days. And if you haven't found that work yet, work that feels right for you, stick around because this information might be useful. In this video, I'll talk about what hard work is, how it can be used as an excuse, and how good judgment beats hard work 100% of the time. What many people mean by hard work is that they're working hard. Now you might say, well, what's the difference? It sounds the same to me. Well, I'm talking about two concepts here: hard work and working hard. Working hard means hustling and pushing yourself in pursuit of getting a task done. Working hard on something makes us feel good sometimes, but it can also lead to a lot of stress, anxiety, and eventually burnout. That's what working hard means. Hard work, on the other hand, at least in my personal definition, means working on something complex and requires attention to details, practice, and other resources. It means working on something specialized, something so important that only a few are qualified to do it. Working on a task or a project that means something to you. But what's most important isn't how many hours you put in or how tired you are at the end of the day. What's important is how much you've accomplished and if that's actually making any difference. Working hard doesn't equal productivity. Here's the thing: most people mistake working hard and hustling for productivity when both are entirely different. That's because most people have the wrong idea of what productivity should look like. I can tell you for sure that productivity is not about taking the most number of items from a list. Productivity means different things to different people and in different professions. For example, in the world of SEO, search engine optimization, for a VA or a virtual assistant, someone who does tasks like page audits or on page optimization, a productive day for that person would likely mean the most number of pages they've optimized within a specific time frame. Yet for a VO or a voiceover artist, one productive day could mean putting all their effort into getting just one thing right. It could be recording a voiceover for a client, producing a jingle, or narrating a script for a video or a commercial. A writer who writes content and copy for online blogs and websites might judge their productivity by the words they write in a single day, while a writer who writes novels for a living might not even write a single word for days and still consider getting a light bulb moment, that is, getting a semi decent idea for the novel's plot, as the best thing that has happened the whole week. See where I'm going with this? Similarly, an entrepreneur or a CEO doesn't need to work on a daily list of tasks to be considered productive. They could be just doing whatever they need to be able to make a few critical decisions every year that move their business forward. So if you're just doing stuff that adds no value to your life just for the sake of feeling productive, it might be time to take a pause and have a think about it. It might just be busy work. I don't think I need to explain why relying on luck alone to carry you through your life is a bad idea. I think you know that already. Through your life experiences or otherwise, you also probably know that your ability to put in the hours and work hard triumphs over sheer luck. But there are many instances of people who work very hard but still don't become successful. You can find such people in almost every walk of life. And at first, you may think these people are simply unlucky, and you might be right sometimes. But in most cases, luck is not the reason for their failure at all. Instead, it is poor decision making that prevents them from reaping the fruits of their labor. Maybe they're in the wrong profession, started the wrong business, or agreed to support a cause that they don't really care about due to a momentary lapse of judgment. And now they find themselves stuck in a situation from which escape seems impossible. To avoid a similar fate befalling you, you must hone your abilities to make good judgment calls. And you can do it in three ways: through experience, by your analytical capabilities, and by honoring your emotions. Think of past experiences like a chest full of lessons and wisdom. When we remember what worked and what didn't work before, it could give us a good idea of what might work in the future. Maybe you tried something similar in the past and it turned out great. Or maybe it didn't work out, but you learned an important lesson from it. Either way, those experiences help us figure out what might happen next and make smarter decisions. I mean, this is pretty basic stuff, the default setting in our brain. To go one step beyond that means trusting our abilities to correctly analyze a situation. In the absence of past experience, assessing a situation analytically is a good way to make better decisions. What being analytical essentially means is breaking things down to understand them better. When we analyze, we look at facts, data, and consider different perspectives, which ultimately helps us see the bigger picture. Analytical thinking helps us weigh options and predict outcomes, making our decisions more informed and reliable, especially when experience is not there to guide us. Now, the third point, honoring your emotions, in my opinion, is by far the most effective way of making better decisions that most people don't know about or flat out ignore. The truth is, we can't really force ourselves to do anything. To achieve success, whatever that means and looks like to you, you must want it from the heart. That's because unless you have a strong emotional bond to a pursuit or a cause, you're most likely to give up at the first sign of struggle. Human beings aren't logical creatures, no matter how much we fooled ourselves into believing it. We're all emotional, and all the politicians and advertisers know it. And given the fact that we're all emotional, it's in all our best interest to learn how to harness the power of our emotions and direct it in a way that brings us success, happiness, and joy. How does this apply to making better judgments? Well, to put it simply, if you have to choose between two options, always go for the one you feel strongly about. Feel strongly about. This applies to both careers and relationships. Using your experience and analytical abilities is great, no doubt. But when we lead with logic and logic alone, we can often find ourselves pursuing a cause that doesn't really bring us joy. You can logic yourself to more money, but you can't logic yourself to more joy. So honor your emotions and find something to do that you love. At least on most days you do. Even if that decision proves to be wrong later on, what you won't end up with is regret. Regret of never having tried or not honoring your calling when the time was right. And regret is the worst of all because it stays. It stays till the end of our days. Some mistakes can be corrected, but there's no cure for regret. I wish this weren't true, but this is the kind of world we live in. Watch my earlier video, Life is a Regret Minimization Game, to learn more about this. So that's about it for today's video. If you learned something, like and subscribe. And leave a comment if you're feeling extra generous. I appreciate you all for watching till the end. See ya.